When footsteps fall in eldritch hollows, and spectres flee into the shadows, that is the time when horror's heroes abound, culling the ghouls that go bump in the night.
What is up, all of you fantastic people from the heart of Lovecraft Country in the birthplace of American religious liberty? My name is SHANTH ENJETI. You are watching SHANTH ENJETI Art, and we're going to be doing some painting today. Folks, it has been a long time no stream, and lots of craziness has been going on. I've been doing a lot of work on this room, and it doesn't show as much as I would like to in front of me because it is diabolical in terms of the mess that I've got going on in this room. However, and this is the important part, I have been trying to reorganize the room and build up some of the material that I'm going to need for a new pre-recorded series that I've been planning to do forever. I've been working on that and writing on that. So it's great to see all of you guys here, and I want to show you if I can. I don't know if you guys can tell, but there have been some changes behind me. I have cleaned up my setup a little bit and put up this Alphonse Mucha print that we've had since we got married 25 years ago, and I wanted to get that up on the wall. But let's see who we've got here in the chat and say hello to everybody. It's good to see you guys. If I'm a little punchy, it's because it's been that kind of day. We've got channel member Timmy Mello in the house. Always great to see a channel member in the chat. We've got Simply Green here. It's great to see you, Simply Green. We've got Bruce Campbell's Chin. Dude, I love that name. It's great to see you in the house, man. Mr. Monkey Boy 1969 is here. It is great to see you. Comrade Sammy is here. Yes, indeed. Another night stream. That is how we do things. And Jim Tells You is here. It is great to see you, Jim Tells You, and I hope you are doing really well. Did I miss anybody? Let me just double check here in case I did. Okay, I think I got everybody. All right, we're in good shape. So guys, this is what I'm up to, and this is what I've been working on. I've been working on a painting, of course. I've been working on this and working on getting this particular setup together so that I could show you guys my canvas paintings and show you what those look like. And that's been one of the things that, has been a big part of this whole streaming thing, is trying to figure out how to best, present the stuff that I want to present so that you guys can see it. Oh, we've got a man called Plush in the house. Agents of the Chadcast. There you go, man. Respect to you, you Chad and Caster, I say. And it's great to see you, my friend. So I've been working on that, and I was doing. I mean, it's been crazy because I've been streaming now. I've been on YouTube for over 5 years, and we're going to talk about a lot of fun and interesting stuff today while I do this painting that is a commission, and I'm really excited about it. I'm getting crazy with the detail on it. So smash that like if you haven't yet. We've got 36 people watching. And it would be great if we could move that number so that YouTube knows what we're up to. But it has been, I am sorry I have been away so long. It was not my intention nor my plan to be away so long. But there was all sorts of just work that needed to be done to get this channel and the future of this channel stuff sorted. And I had a couple of things that sort of just, occurred to me over the last 2 weeks while I've been walking around and hiking around Lovecraft Country with the missus. And one of the biggest ones is that there's this thing that I've kind of not been really wanting to deal with, as I've been just kind of like, I was so burnt out on it. But I started thinking about my teaching again. And just about the idea of what I actually loved about teaching and how I have a freedom now that I've never had before. Now, if you guys don't know, if you haven't seen, seen this kind of thing, and you haven't heard me talk about it before, I was a teacher for 20 years, and I was a college teacher. I was a senior critic at Rhode Island School of Design, and then I was an associate professor at another college up in Beverly, Mass. And it was a huge part of my life, and I loved it. And what I was trying to do was to try to educate people and teach people usable skills they could do something with when they got out. Now, what I didn't know and what I couldn't have imagined is how much the rot of postmodernism was going to turn my career and my field on its head. And it was sort of devastating to watch, but it also was something that really hindered me. What is up, Random McRanderson? How are you doing? Shanth has been unclogging culverts for his new YouTube channel. That's exactly... You don't even know, Random. It's bad. What's up, Sleeping Psychopathy? Ugh, one of these days I'm going to get this tier just to see you take on Sleeping Beauty. Hey, listen, this is actually a special tier. What? Mighty Geek Studios, my man. It's good to see you, brother. Yes, indeed. Reject modernity and hail Razor Fist on that one. And Nordic Nerd, it is great to see you, my brother. How are you doing? Yes, Shanth escaped the purgatory known as academia. That's right. And so here's the thing that I've been really thinking a lot about lately, and it's a big one, is much like what I do with Nosfero, and the link for that is in the description, I'm trying to push back on making culture and making artwork that's inspiring to people, that talks about timeless things and things that are a major part of the Judeo-Christian West. Now, I say that to delineate it from the fact that postmodernism, Marxism, and socialism could be viewed as ideologies of the West. And I want to delineate those because there's a real break that's happened. So I started thinking about, well, what do I want to do? What do I want to talk about? And I realized that one of the most inspiring YouTube channels I've seen lately, although I could not do, what he does is just incredible, has been the Y-Files. And I know a lot of you guys have probably watched the Y-Files. It's a fun, interesting, educational program. And it's really changed the game in a lot of ways, much like Townsend's, which is another channel I really enjoy, but it just sort of relates a little bit less to what I do, because I can't do 18th century cooking or build a log cabin or canoe like those guys can. But watching him and the way that he presented information, I realized that much like what we're doing with Comicsgate, much like what we're doing with publishing comics and doing independent comics and all the great stuff we're doing here, I don't want to seed the ground of education. Do you know what I mean? And it's craziness. Timmy, I'm telling you, it's always insanity to me. Oh, I watched Townsend's eat. Oh my God, that looks so good. Yeah, I'm telling you right now, Random McRanderson, that was one of the best thumbnails I've ever seen on one of their streams. And I never would think to eat a roasted onion, but after watching that, I would consider it. I don't know if you guys can see, it's covered up, and I dropped it once, and my wife ordered me a new one. But I do have what's it called? Oh my gosh. I'm totally blanking. I gotta read the mug now. Oh, I do have a Nutmeg Tavern mug. One of those ones that they do that are beautiful by hand and stamped. And really, oh, that's fantastic. It's pretty good. I'll have to try it. Yes, and check out the Y-Files if you haven't. It's a great channel. And so I have a new channel that I'm working on, but it's all going to happen here as well, which is forget everything you've been taught about. And what I'm calling it is, what did I call it? Expelling the postmodern, shoot, I did a thumbnail for it and I was really happy with what I came up with. It was so important to me and it was so catchy and brilliant, that I forgot what it was, which is always, fun to see. Fun to watch, a mind fade as mine fades quite often. So it was called Expelling the Postmodernist Rot of Academic Indoctrination. That is the purpose of this channel. So what I'm doing is I'm going through and I'm tracking a lot of the popular poison of postmodernism, and I'm making videos that are essentially defending, basically taking apart certain ideas that have been used to attack the meaning of certain works of literature, the role of heroes and villains being reversed or having them be redefined in such a way that subjectivity rules, and also putting a lot of nonsense out into the world as far as storytelling, pop culture, what it means to live a meaningful life, that just leaves people completely hopeless, misguided, and unable to live a fulfilling life. And I want people to take back, frankly, Western literature and canonical texts like Frankenstein, like Dracula, like all of these works. That's what I'm interested in doing. And so to do that, I've got to put some serious time in. There is Tammy D. How are you doing? You better have gotten that book, because I got a confirmation that it arrived. So, and I put a special book in there too. Oh, good. You got it. I got late to this chat. Channel member Tammy D is here. Thank you guys for being channel members. I know I lost a bunch of channel members because I haven't been streaming and all of that stuff. So, it is what it is. I have to make sure. And speaking of my Antoine Dennison, the professor, man, you are the most ride or die. I love you, buddy. Seriously. Thank you for being here, man. And it's been a really crazy thing, because I've sat down and I'm writing this stuff out, and I'm reading Mary Shelley's personal journals, and I'm going, this person is a genius. And I am uncovering all of this incredible stuff that will blow your mind. I almost want to share some of it with you. It's that crazy. I was showing it to Eric Weathers, and it was, guys, the way that my brain works, I was so good. Thank you so much, Tammy D. That means a lot. And hail Jeremy Burt's channel member. God bless you. Thank you for being here. The thing about it is, thank you, Fritzy Schnitzel. I love that name so much, man. I had a friend in college named Hans Schadel, and his nickname was the Strudel Noodle. And I don't know why, but every time I see Fritzy Schnitzel, it makes me smile. And channel member Skeleton Core Comics, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Oh my gosh, yeah, guys. So this is the thing that sort of got me about it as I was working, is that I found there's this push for renaming Mary Shelley that's being done in postmodern circles, and has been being done in postmodern circles since, I would say, probably the 70s. And they did it sort of insidiously. And they started putting her radical feminist mother, who died when she was 11 days old, who she never knew, and who had a completely insane, life philosophy, and was, as the kids today would say, a total hot mess express. Mary had her a little lamb. No, Mary had her mother's middle name, but she never used it. Like, she never put that when she signed her work. She never did any of that stuff. And what I realized is that what's been happening in the Americas and in certain postmodernist circles is they've been putting her mother's name into her name, and having 50% of the stuff you see is not signed what she signed it, which was by Mary Shelley. It's by Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley, and it's totally insidious. Now you might think, what the heck? How are you going to address that? How are you going to uncover that? Let me see if I can do this. Don't know if this is going to work. This might be a total train wreck. But hey, it's my channel. What else is new? So let me show you how nuts I am. I was showing this to Eric Weathers, and then his wife, who was, I guess, a brilliant English lit major, was like, what is he talking about? I want to learn about this. Because I've been giving Eric painting lessons because he wants to start painting traditionally. So one of the many crazy things that goes on here in this neck of the woods. The wild stuff you don't hear about. But let me see if I can find this for you guys so you guys can grasp the kind of deep dive I'm doing. I may even do a special video for this, because just on this one thing, because I think it is shocking to me. So we got a new image overlay. Let me see if I can find this. And I'm going to share this for the first time with you guys. Like I said, there's interesting stuff to talk about, but this is what, forget everything you've been taught, but this is your real first glimpse of what it's been like for me, what it was like to have me as a teacher, and what my level of research was. And people would always ask me, they'd go, where did you learn about this? And I would go, I just did research and I found it. And so here you go, guys. Brace yourselves. Are you ready? Brace yourselves. What you see up top, right here at the top of your screen, the very top signature that you see is the official Wikipedia signature for Mary Shelley. And it says Mary, the Y goes into a W, then there's an S in a perfectly legible S, then there's a separate H, so there's a separate S, separate H, and then there's an ELLY. And I went in and I highlighted some things. Now, here's the thing that people, yeah, this totally is. Back and to the left. Back and to the left. Back and to the left. Oswald knew that he was not supposed to be in the book depository. I love Kevin Costner's Southern accent in that. It always makes me laugh. And so here's the thing. This was a signature that was cobbled together from one of her poems. Now, this is the interesting part. Her husband, who people have been suspicious of the fact that, claiming that he was an author on Frankenstein, because so much of the drafts of the book, handwritten drafts of the book, were in his handwriting. Here's where we get into the real deep dive, guys. This is what it was like being in my classroom. If you're a fan of Gothic stuff, this channel isn't changing, but we're taking it to them. We're gonna take it to these people who are absolutely filling people's head with propaganda, and they know what they're doing. They're either ignorant, in which case they shouldn't be teaching and propagating this garbage, or I think what's more likely the case, they don't care. Thank you. You see, Barb Rogers. I put on this train hat, Barb Rogers, so I could doff my cap to you, my dear. And then you went and did me the kindness of gifting Bruce Campbell's chin a membership. I got to get a cheerleader going. Sorry for this brief interruption, guys. Here you go.
Charge! Charge!
Let me tell you. Thank you, Barb Rogers. God bless you. Let me tell you guys, this is important, okay? So here's the thing. Here's the great secret behind the Frankenstein handwriting conspiracy. Mary Shelley had doctor's handwriting, okay? If bad handwriting was a crime, Mary Shelley would be on death row. That is the truth. But here's the thing that's even crazier about this. Not only did Mary Shelley, and well spotted Barb Rogers, not put the W in her name ever, right? But when Percy wrote that poem in proper penmanship, because he always put Percy B. Shelley as his name, he used his middle initial, he did the same for her. But here's the thing, her real signature and the signature on all the books never had it. And here's how we know she never signed her name that way. When she was actually writing her name, right? She had a very peculiar tick in her writing. Whenever she wrote the letter Y at the end of a word, she connected the previous letter to the Y when she wrote script. Can you imagine now why Percy had to translate Mary Shelley into some type of English by doing so much of the writing and transcribing her work? Wasn't that he was probably an editor. He was probably helping her edit it. But not even God knows what she wrote on some of this letter. It's absolutely crazy. So here is how Mary Shelley wrote her name. M-A, this is the second one down if you're trying to follow. M-A, R goes up, comes down into a Y, and then that is not even an S in any country. That S violates the Geneva Convention. It goes up from the Y, then down. What is that? And then comes back up, down into an H, and then E, L, L, and then that's supposed to be an EY, and it goes up to the E, comes down into a Y. So what her name actually seems to read there is May Melly. That is what it looks like it says, May Melly. Now, if you think to yourself, hey, Shanth, did she do this all the time? Yep, she sure did. And here's the evidence, and here's the letter, and a letter that we know is confirmed in her handwriting because it was a letter she wrote to somebody else. So it's not a transcript, it's not a book, it's not a work of fiction, it's actually how this gal works. Many, M-A, up to the N comes down into a Y. Thanks for, what the hell is this? I mean, seriously, I had terrible penmanship when I was a kid. This is diabolical. I mean, shoot, we've got Tammy, and she's probably seen doctor's handwriting like crazy as a nurse. This is messed up. Yeah, I see Dark Shadow Logan knows. He's like, I can read her writing. Okay, then I'm going to put you to the test, man. I'm going to hold you to that, and hail and welcome, my friend. I know exactly what you mean. I can read dyslexia, so I read this just fine. So, your communication, which gave me great pleasure... Come on now. I know that says pleasure. Can you imagine trying to hand this to a typesetter and have them know what is going on? Pleasure. I am truly T-R-U-L goes up and turns into a Y. I am truly, not even God knows what that says, to you for the trouble you have to... What? Kindly, K-I-N-D, goes up to the L, comes down as a Y. She never failed to do that when she was writing. Do you get what I'm saying? So, this is what an actual academic should do. Do you understand that? This is what an actual academic should be doing. Obliged. Very nice. Look at you guys. You guys are cracking the Da Vinci Code here. I'm loving it. So here we go. Now, her husband's name was Percy. So here we go. P-E-R goes up for a C, comes down as a Y. I'm assuming that says compliments, but I have no idea what this word. Percy, what on earth does that say? His compliments, blah, blah, blah. Yours truly, May Melly. Mary Shelley. Do you guys see? Like, it totally does. That's absolutely right. It's crazy. And what's up, Headless Bourgeoisie? Do you guys see what I mean? Mary had to dictate the story to someone with clear handwriting. Otherwise, she wouldn't be published. You couldn't hand that stuff. Desires his compliments. There you go. But do you guys understand? You cannot give, or gives his compliment. That's possible too. You can't give this to a typesetter to transcribe. Someone has to know what you're saying, be able to understand your handwriting. In fact, if it was me, oh yeah, Levy's his empathy. Levy's his... God bless you, man. Levy's his amphitheater. Yes, indeed. So here's what I'm guessing was happening. Percy was looking at her handwriting and going, again, not even God knows what this says. You guys know, if you've ever been in a relationship with someone who's remotely supportive as Percy was, he probably said, tell me what you're writing, read it to me, and I'll transcribe it. I can't even read it until you tell me what it says. Do you get how bad this is? Imagine trying to labor through a novel with this handwriting. Only Mary knows. You're absolutely right, Tammy. You're 100% right. So this is the thing. People always wonder why I laugh till I cough. It's because I'm coughing all the time. Excuse me. James Hunsinger, you're absolutely right. Yes, indeed. You guys know. So this is what is the craziest part of this. And the fun part of this. That we're going to do stuff on Forget What You've Been Taught About. We're going to do stuff there that is going to take this stuff apart very methodically and say that this is ridiculous. This woman was a genius with terrible penmanship. And the attempt that always happens in postmodernism. Postmodernism always loves conspiracy and loves to deny creator genius any chance they can get. Everything's always got to be collectivist and collaborative and everything, because then that means that there are no geniuses in the world. And I've argued for a long time, the more you read Mary Shelley's journals and the more you learn about her, the more you realize that not only is it about penmanship, but her belief system and her value system was completely antithetical to Percy's. And there is no way at all Percy would have ever written a story with the morality tale that Mary Shelley wrote. In fact, some people believe there were elements of that story that were referencing things about Percy and about Percy's, need to kind of be, I don't know what the word I'm looking for here is, lovingly, his need to kind of, be practical and have a sense of things. So as a lot of you people don't know, and as I'm going to be making sure I get out there, and I didn't know this, I was not looking for this, I was actually shocked by this, was that Mary Shelley was a Christian. She believed in God. She read the Bible in addition to a ton of books. When you read her journal, she tells you what books she's currently reading and working on, and it's just like unbelievable. Talk about somebody who was just devouring books. You've got Mary Shelley. But she was an incredibly interesting and brilliant person. And she was feminine. When you read her letters, she was girly, and she was brilliant. And I have no interest whatsoever in having people turn her into a something that she wasn't. Let's just start there. Something that she wasn't. I mean, if history has a job to me, the job is, and this is again another thing I like about the Y-Files, is if I had found out that Mary Shelley, which I actually started out thinking, come to think of it, but if I had thought that Mary Shelley was a Christian and I'd found out that she was an atheist, that would have been the thing I would have been putting out there. But as I've gone deeper and deeper into this stuff, and I went, well, let me consider, what if Percy did write this stuff? Let me look at what Mary was about, let me look at what she wrote, and let me look at what Percy wrote. And it just becomes inescapable. And then I also go, okay, so if he secretly wrote it, why would he secretly write it? And people will say things like, well, she left her name off the book. And I'm like going, yes, she probably left her name off the book because not only was her mother utterly shrouded in scandal, but her marriage to Percy was also shrouded in scandal because he ran off with her and left his wife. And his wife took her own, life, so to speak. And I know YouTube doesn't like that kind of talk, but whatever. And it was a huge scandal, an enormous scandal. And that's the stuff. Yes. And by the way, the point of the story is not about parent abandonment. And I'm going to get to that when I talk about my Forget What You've Been Taught About Frankenstein, Mary Shelley's novel Frankenstein. They're going to be two different things. I did not see Danny Boyle's Frankenstein, but I'd be down for it. I'd check it out. And this is the thing for me that is amazing. The story of Frankenstein is much more about what happens when man tries to create life and lacks the ability to give it a soul, a spirit, any kind of real connection with God, because the monster was never intended to be a sympathetic figure. That's another postmodernist thing. Good and bad, or a point of view. That's going to be another video I do. It's so completely crazy how a lot of this stuff has taken hold. By the way, look at the scales on this dragon. I'm operating at a very high level right now, and I don't mean I'm high or anything, because that's not how I roll. I drink soda. I'm kind of lame that way. But my dentist thinks I need to calm it down. But think about how exciting learning is when you're with a teacher who's actually engaged. You know what I mean? And there's my brother, Rocky. Good to see you, man. Yes, exactly. And so why would Percy and all of the circle of friends she was in were all devout atheists? All of them. And they were always trying to, this is the part I found fascinating, they were always trying to get her to become an atheist. And she was like, no, no, I'm not doing that. And they respected it. That's the amazing story about Mary Shelley, is she didn't go along with what her mother's ideology was, which her father, who actually raised her, went out of his way to make sure that he didn't raise her with the way that had, their philosophies that had left his wife so miserable most of her life. And so there's just a story to be told there. It's not a story of her battling against the male patriarchy as has been the popular belief. It's actually a story about a father who dedicated his life to wanting to educate her so that her talent could come to full fruition. A husband who believed in her talent and wanted to see that her genius got out there, even if he had to translate Klingon to English. It's incredible. I will absolutely check it out. It sounds really cool, and I think Danny Boyle makes some really interesting films, so I'm absolutely there for it. I'll do it. Timmy Mello says, and there is where only a person who understands God and the importance of life can create such a story dynamic. You're absolutely right. And it's important because the book is important. I mean, I don't know how many copies of Frankenstein I have in this house. It's quite a few. But Frankenstein, I don't even know how to, oh guys, you guys should just see the stuff. When you don't see me, well, you're better off for it. I'm not sure I'm that easy on the eyes, but let me see here. But when you don't see me, always know that I am working like crazy to push against all of this garbage that people are being inundated with constantly. That, and I'm going out with the missus for the occasional walk there. Let me see if I can find this. Let's see where we are here. Oh golly, I can't ever find what I'm looking for. But that's to be expected. But I've been working on all of these crazy, video elements and things like that. Let me see if I can do that. I'm probably going to crash things a little bit for a bit. So if the stream quality goes down, I apologize. But this is welcome to my classroom. That's why all of my thumbnails are going to say that from now on. Guys, I want you guys, I don't have to stop being a teacher just because of what happened in my field, which is, to me, absolutely appalling. It's so unfortunate to watch everything get destroyed that you care so much about. And I said to myself, I'm going to have to work twice as hard in order for me to be able to do what I do here. But I'm going to do it because I think that education can be so much better. And like I said, I have been truly inspired by the Y-Files and what Michael does. He sets the camera up. He does copious amounts of research, which I love doing research. It was always my favorite thing about being a teacher. And guys, when you get Nosfero, if you have not read Nosfero yet, if you've not backed that book yet, there is so much in that book. I was flipping through it the other day and I went, oh my God, there's so much nuance in that book and detail that when you read that thing over and over again, you're going to see something new. And I'm going to tell things that are in that book at some point that people are going to go, oh my God, I didn't even notice that. Hopefully, if it's any good, which I think it is pretty damn good. And the second book is going to be ridiculous. And you're going to need that first book to really get there. You know what I'm saying? And so let's take a look at this. Let me see if I can make this do something. I don't know what I'm going to be able to do here, but let's give it a shot here. Hang on a second. Okay, there's that. There's a weird inside the story video that I did. Now, I'm going to pause this. This is going to be annoying for a second. Okay, that didn't work, but we're going to try it anyway. Let's see what happens. We've replaced Sean's brains with Folger's crystals. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I've got that in there, and I don't know where that even went. Oh, what? Huh. So that's not going to work. Okay, so that's there. And now I just got to turn off a couple of things. Can you guys hear me? Can you let me know if you guys can hear me in the chat, okay? And there we go. Can you guys hear me? All right, cool. You guys got me. All right, look at this. This, what you're seeing right here, is a portrait that I created on my trackpad of Mary Shelley based on the portraits that we have that we know are Mary Shelley from a child. The most famous portrait you've ever seen of Mary Shelley was painted after she was dead. And so I looked at these pictures that were from when she was much younger and went in and using a trackpad and just a ton of labor went into this. I wanted to bring people a little bit of a clearer picture of what Mary Shelley looked like. So I painted this on my trackpad in Photoshop because that stuff was really important to me, you know? And that's the stuff that I look for. I wanted to get the way that her eyes were described by the artist who drew her when she was young. So all of this is a part of it. And what's really cool to me is that Frankenstein defines himself. And like, this is the quality I'm trying to build into these things, guys. Like, it's just like, this is what it's about. See if I can make this happen. So you can see it's about like taking people, I'll be talking over some of this stuff, and then kind of just showing that's the room where she wrote Frankenstein and where they were visiting. And then that's one of the first illustrations of Frankenstein. And then I'm going to go into what is the actual moral of Frankenstein, and what is the story about, and talking about that and those aspects of the story. But the most important thing I'm doing is I'm taking elements of it and letting these characters speak. And I'm also trying to have, you know, the characters talk from various sources. So in a second here, you're going to see I took the Frankenstein from the great Hallmark movie and then made it color correct to the story. And I gave you a little quote of him talking, showing his crimes. And he talks about his crimes, and he says, I am evil.
It is true that I am a wretch. I have murdered the lovely and the helpless. I have strangled the innocent as they slept and grasped at death, his throat who never injured me, or any other living thing.
This is what it's going to be about. This is what I'm trying to do with the things that I do as I go forward. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? So I want to be able to create stuff. Now, I wouldn't even say that AJ has a really big team for what he's doing. He certainly doesn't. I mean, he's working his tail off. But I want to bring people into this space, and I want us to push back because we can't allow these propagandists and, indoctrinators change the history of these great people. Frankenstein is an incredible novel, and you don't need someone to interpret it to tell you what it means, because Mary Shelley wrote it for you. She didn't write it for the chin strokers. Do you know what I mean? She wrote it for you guys. And that's important. Right as I said that, Mr. Monkey Boy, for the win. Not really, but continue. But this is what we're trying to do. This is how Shanth responds when Lauren asks him, what are you thinking about? Oh, no, I've taken you through this. You know this is how I respond to you, man. It's like everybody, my brother, my wife, God bless them, they put up with me. It's gonna tire you out. It really is exhausting. But that's the thing. And for me, I'm glad to hear it. And welcome to the stream. Welcome. For me, horror, and gothic horror in particular, which Nosfero is, guys. And if you haven't backed that book, guys, when that campaign comes down, you're going to be kicking yourself. It is a beautiful book, but it's actually a true, according to Hoyle, gothic, fully painted, traditional gothic narrative. And an essential part of that gothic narrative are heroes that have faith and belief in God. Because without that, you've got nothing. There's no conversation to be had. It's the weirdest thing. And so that was the thing that I've kind of realized as I've read Dracula, as I've read Frankenstein, that we've really made those characters far less interesting than they would be if you would address what the core thing is, which it isn't a story about parental abandonment. The reason why Frankenstein does not make the monster a mate is a very practical reason that the monster admits would have probably have been the case. It's such a crazy story, which is the monster finds himself to be ugly. So he finds things that look like him to be ugly on his own, right? He just goes, I am ugly. He longs to be with beautiful human people. So if Victor Frankenstein, and I'm doing this while painting, I want to add, but if Victor Frankenstein were to create a bride, there's a high probability that she would find herself ugly, would find him ugly, and then go on a murder spree just like the first monster did, except now there's two, and they're both bitter and pissed off and have a temperament towards violence, as has been demonstrated. That's how they solve their problems. They're vengeful, they're envious, and they punish people that they're envious of. And I was reading this going, this woman is a genius, and all of this, I mean, for Mary Shelley is not a genius because she's a woman. Let me be clear. She's a genius among writers and creators, period. I find that whole thing to be bizarre. You're either great in that creative field, period, or you're not. Get it done. You know what I mean? Yes. The curse of the introvert in the world of extroverts. You're absolutely right. And I'm not talking about redemption arcs. Those are different and require some sort of sacrifice and price. You're absolutely right. Even though Sean's mind is crazy, he has a heart of gold. Butter. That's absolutely right. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I read The Modern Prometheus many years ago. Well, if you like books that have a nice sort of tactile quality to them, which I do, there's a really great edition. So they've been doing this thing at Barnes & Noble where they've been releasing these editions where they actually have the page end pages almost dyed a little bit of a color. But this is the Frankenstein edition you can get at a very good price at Barnes & Noble. And it's a soft cover, but sort of faux leather-bound book. And they're so wonderful. Like, they're just so great to hold in your hand and read. You can get hardcovers of it too there, but I find those to be something I can throw in my bag and take with me when I want to read them. So that's the thing I really do love about this kind of stuff. What's up, Richard Gradwell? It is great to see you, my friend. I hope you are well. Thank you, guys. Please do hit the like button, and please do, if you haven't yet, consider becoming a member or gifting a membership. It always helps the channel, and I thank you guys so much. Yeah, isn't it? Dark Shadow Logan, I really do enjoy it. David Room says, exactly, Frankenstein had to come to terms with what he had done in creating the first monster and didn't want to do it again. Yes, and Frankenstein had to. That's true. I think that's absolutely right. Mary Shelley is a genius because Shanth is a woman. It's always possible. I am a monster because I am not like others. Yes, exactly. Yep. Yeah, there's some brilliant stuff there. Yeah, we had to read Frankenstein in middle school, but my teacher never delved into this stuff. You know what's interesting? Yes, I knew what you meant, David. Don't worry. The way I read, don't ever worry about how you type. I pretty much read things based on, I don't know. I don't know how I read. It's crazy. So this is the thing about it for me that's interesting, is that my mentor introduced me, and I had this conversation with Eric Weathers because I've been teaching Eric Weathers, giving him painting classes because he wants to learn how to work in traditional, and he's killing it. He is making such great progress. And I'm like the character in that Key and Peele skit where he's like, I made a vow never to teach again. And Eric Weathers has got me doing something I said I wouldn't do, but what are you gonna do? Sometimes if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. But the thing about that's so interesting is that when it comes to doing this type of work, and it comes to this stuff, I think that my mentor gave me the gift of introducing me to the history of illustration, and particularly American illustration, the golden age of illustration. I'd had teachers tell me the names and show me some of the work, but my mentor made that stuff come alive for me. And that's really what it's about. I want people to get excited about reading these classics because they're in the public domain. You can read them online for free, but you can also get a beautiful, very affordable copy that you could take with you, and it's your copy of the book. And hail to He Dog. God bless you, Tammy. You know what I'm talking about. What's the name of that artboard you used? You mean the one I'm working on right now, or the one I'm due for the illustrations for Nosfero? Antoine, let me know. Because right now I'm working just on a canvas. I'm working on a primed black canvas because I like the idea sometimes, and it's not every time, but of painting the light into the shadow, particularly because this is sort of a dragon in its cave painting. And if you haven't seen, I'll zoom out a little bit so you can see my horrendously terrible room. But this right here is the painting. It's going to be a very tall painting, and it's going to just be a really cool Templar knight fighting. That's the commission anyway. A Templar, which I'm very excited about. It was a very cool idea. A Templar knight fighting a dragon and rescuing a damsel. Rocky, yes, that's right. Hey, everybody's saying hello, hello. Both. Okay. So what I'm working on right now is a primed black Blick canvas. So you can go to blick.com, B-L-I-C-K, and you can get one of these canvases. But I also work on their premiere canvases, which is what I'm painting that tall vertical Frankenstein on. Or, sorry, Frankenstein's monster on. And then with these are what I'm painting my gouache paintings on. So this is Nosfero 2. And this is the second book's cover that's in progress. This is painted on crescent board, and I believe it is watercolor texture extra thick crescent illustration board. So I can put on screen so you can screen cap it. Let me get it right side up. There we go. And I'm pretty sure if you hit that number, it will get you the product. Or that whatever. What are those things called? If you hit that, it should. And then there is the all the numbers you would need to know what I'm using. So that's the stuff I use. And that's what, if you get the second edition of Nosfero, you're going to get this painting that is going to be in the book, and it's turning out to be a freaking stunner. So do not miss the oxidized edition, and if you want a print of this as well, get the oxidized edition with the print. So you'll have a nice 8.5 by 11. Because all of my books, QR, thank you, James Hunsinger. All of my books are 8.5 by 11. They're bigger than comic book size because I wanted them to feel like the collected Rocketeer or the collected Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles back in the day. So that was the thing I was most excited about. Yes, thank you guys. Both of you guys are correct at different parts, but the QR was the word I was looking for. It's called Skin of His Enemies. I hope not. Oh my gosh. Let's see here. Random McRanderson. I used to like the canvas texture, but now that I paint acrylic on canvas board, I find spending way too much time sanding and gessoing. Understood. Yeah, there's it's a little bit easier if you use the crescent canvas texture board. It's not as deep of a texture, so if you like a little texture, it can be fun. But you could also very well use what I'm painting with gouache on. You know, it's the crescent watercolor board will take acrylic. So if that's something you're interested in, give it a shot. I don't use a wild amount of water when I'm painting, but it still gives me the vibe that I kind of want to get with it. So it's kind of I find it's a fun way to work. And if you guys can tell right here, I try to do subtle color shifts on the scales so that when, oh my gosh, oh my lord, love you, baby girl. Get some sleep. I'm proud of you. Okay? Oh my goodness. Oh lordy. I've been missing my my bears a little too much this week. I'll tell you that. Love you, kiddo. I'm proud of you. Art Haida says that sounds great. Let's see. That sounds great, Shanth. But will they fit in my long box? I know. I'm sorry, Art. They won't. But they do sell tabloid size. Thank God, because that's how I do the pre-shipment on all the orders. They do sell those tabloid size, which I need, you know. Uncle Rocky's saying hello. Oh my goodness. But it's one of those things where if I was if I was doing this kind of work, and if I was, when I was thinking about it, is the first comic I ever held in my hand, was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles collected first, edition by First Publishing. I don't know where it is. I did have it near here the other day, but I can't find it. I don't know where I put it. And there was just something about it that just hit me, and it had a painted cover, interestingly enough. And then there was Dave Stevens' Rocketeer, and I just sort of loved the idea of those painted images on the covers. So that Nosfero turned out to be something that is 8.5 by 11 in a fully painted book still blows my mind. That's the stuff that fascinates me. But I want to thank, in a lot of ways, the folks that are around me who always are telling me, Shanth, you've got that teaching side of you, and you need to make sure you keep doing stuff with it, because for me, that's a big factor in what I love to do, which is all of the stuff you see in Nosfero in my work is informed and driven by my inquiry. And I'm always curious. I always want to learn more. I always want to go for walks, Yeah, I know. I would appreciate it, and I would of course, I would love to be in any of you guys' collections. I would consider it an honor. So thank you. I do appreciate you guys. Welcome to Artist Enjeti's Cluttered Closet. You don't even know, guys. You don't even know. I've been sitting around. So this week, here's the stuff I've been up to. I took a shelf. I ordered a shelf that was or a ledge, one of those ledges you hang on the walls. And I ordered one that could fit on the end of my desk and screwed it into my desk so stuff doesn't fall off the back anymore. It's just, I'm just going for the last 5 years, ever since I got on YouTube. And, to do pre-recorded videos, one of the things I have to do, and one of the things I've been working on, is I have to write. And I don't want to go too heavy into the script aspect of it, because I want it to be a little bit more fluid and a little bit more natural when I'm doing it. But I do want to make sure that I drive the point home, because we're having a whole generation of young people told a lot of ridiculous nonsense that, more importantly, it's about Mary Shelley's vision of Frankenstein should be what we're concerned with. We shouldn't be concerned with postmodernist propagandists and what they think people should have been writing about. They can't write their own books, so they have to change and edit other people's works, which is not my favorite thing in the world. But what's a little bit more alarming to me is when you change other people's lives. All right, Tammy, get some sleep. God bless you, and have a wonderful night. And tell your dad I said hello. Tell your mom I said hello, and God bless you and your family. Yes, indeed. We are about to go through a huge teaching reform. Yes, and we need to, and that's what I've been realizing. It's not enough for us to say, it's the same thing. We have to give an alternative, but I think we can. The hardest working teachers, which I was, it was easy to be successful in academia in the sense of with the students and with people actually learning and getting jobs. The problem is that you were penalized for it. It really is like Atlas Shrugged in academia. It's really awful. You're allowed to be you can be the best, but you're never allowed to win. And I never had much of an ego when I was teaching. I wish I kind of had one, because I would be, very, try not to make a big deal out of what I could do, a mistake I will never make again. And other teachers would go, he's not that great. And I just go, I look back on that now and I just think that was a lesson I had to learn. But it was just, because I was a kid when I started teaching, and they don't want you to be too successful, because if you know how to teach and you know how to paint and draw, you're a threat to the people who don't. And now I don't care. I don't care if they lose their jobs. I don't care if their institution fails, because they are so certain, and they hurt me and my family. Like, I can't overstate that, They hurt my family. they held us back financially. And it's not like being, in Comicsgate is making me a millionaire at this moment. But that's not... I want everything I could possibly get for my family. Let me be clear. They deserve it. I work my ass off. I think my books are fantastic. But for me, if I have to do this backer by backer and by the grace of some of the folks and artist colleagues I have, I am grateful for everything I have. And I can sleep at night since I left that place. I can sleep at night. That's important to me. Like, I was so close to my father-in-law, and my wife is the most important person on the entire planet to me. And to hear people talk about their race in a way that when I had that shit done to me, sorry for swearing again, I said if I was ever on the other side of that, I would do something about it. And I found myself on the other side of it, and I had to do something about it. And it's that's the stuff we talk about on this channel. The stuff you do when nobody's looking. One of the things that I was thinking about and I was laughing about is whenever I get grief, which is just the nature of the beast, but whenever I get grief about things where it's like, oh, you're being nice to that person to get things. Oh, you're being nice to that person to get things. One of the things I laugh about is the majority of people I help during the week, nobody knows, and I can get nothing from financially, status, clout, none of those things. And the only people notice when I help are people with status, with clout. But that doesn't mean that's the tiny group of people that I help just because they're friends of mine, like them. We get along, I think. That's a big part of it. But it makes me laugh because I know most of the people I help, they would walk right past and not even notice. That's more of a reflection on them than it is on me. That the only time they notice me doing a kind act is when it's to somebody that they want to get something from. But that's not how I do it. And you could ask, if you could talk to almost everybody I've ever met for any period of time, and you could say, hey, has Shanth ever done something for you? Has he ever bought you a tube of paint when you couldn't afford one? Or brought in some book for you to look at when you didn't, because you were excited about an artist and he had a book? Did he ever give you a book that was one of his? That was an expensive book just because that artist meant something to you when he was a teacher? I mean, it's crazy to me. But it's so be it. I'm not going to change who I associate with because I think I'd like to be around people who can actually help me and my family. I've done it the other way and I've been penalized for that. So why not have it both? Why not just enjoy the people I'm around because we have things in common? It's just such a bizarre thing to me. But it's like that's what I want to do with teaching. And it's such a strange thing. But I think that after 5 years on YouTube and after, any amount of time you spend on this channel, you'll get a really clear idea of what I'm about. You can't fake enthusiasm for 5 years. Do you know what I mean? That's what it's about. Trust me, Shanth, no one wants me to talk about the stuff I do when nobody's looking. Yes, Antoine, I believe you. God bless you, dude. Yep. That's when all the intelligent people show up at this hour. Yeah, those of us who are sleep deprived. And, oh gosh, Barb Rogers, thank you so much. You're the best. I appreciate you so much. And thank you for gifting a membership. That was very kind of you. Yep. Yeah, it's a very strange thing to me because when I look at this stuff, and I look at work, and I look at the stuff I do, I more or less just try to do... Quantum Age Comics, welcome. I more or less try to do what I do. And welcome, Green Laser. It's great to see you. Painting is everything to me. Family is everything to me. Today, my wife and I went out for a hike. We're trying to get in the habit of doing that because apparently sitting in your chair all day, as my doctor has told me, is not optimal. And he wants me to get walking and moving. But it's been so good for me. Today, we were out in Lovecraft Country. We were walking down this trail, and all of a sudden, this giant stag deer walked in front of us. And at first, I thought I was hearing... I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard, a deer. I'm sure... What am I saying in this crowd? I'm sure a few of you guys have. But when you're out in the woods, it almost sounded like a walkie-talkie echoing from afar. It was like this... and I was like, what the heck is that? And then this giant deer just came walking out, and there was just a whole bunch of them. And I'm sitting here, and we're just out like hiking and going on this walk in the middle of Lovecraft country. And I just thought, this is what I need to do. This is the stuff that I need to get in. And we've started a routine, and we've made it a habit now. But it was just, that's what I try to bring into everything I do. And so I'm always going to try to do my best, just like I did when I was teaching in the classroom, when I'm making these videos, to present things as best as I can. And because the people that I want to, frankly, reveal their sort of ridiculousness, who are out there just, again, they're propagandists trying to indoctrinate people. They're sloppy, and they don't have the energy to make anything of quality. But that means that I have to raise my game. I have to really make sure I make something of quality. And that's what AJ over at the Y-Files has done that I admire so much. What is up, Rocky? How are you? Another Rocky in the house. Rocky Macabre. It is great to see you, my man. How are you doing? I hike 2 to 3 hours a day. God, that's fantastic. Whether I want to or not, I have a dog. That's excellent, Antoine. I seriously, I admire that. Not kidding. That is fantastic. In New Jersey, all the deer you see jump in front of your car. No doubt. That's the thing that makes me always nervous when we're driving out there. Let's see here. Oh, I lent someone a $1,400 camera lens, and they broke it and said they couldn't afford to fix it. I don't lend gear anymore. There you go. Skeleton Core Comics. The deer made what sound? Sounds like a skinwalker. It could have been. It could have been, man. Lord knows. Oh, sorry. And you asked me, Random McRanderson, about my crescent boards, and I missed that. Where was it? 99. Okay, yes. Let me see. Check my glasses here. Huh. I feel like it should say on here. Hold on a second. Let me see. I'm gonna go into my account real quick and just see what it says. Because it should have the order on there recently. Hold on, sorry guys. This is what it's like. I it's like, this is as real as it gets, man. Let's see here. Okay, so that order is completed. Let me see if that had the boards in it. Nope, those were canvases. I'm pretty sure it was here. Let me just double check. Okay, I wasn't trying to track it though. Okay, let's just see what this has in it. Okay. Come on, guys. Where is it? All right. I know it's in here somewhere. I just want to make sure I find this for you. Crescent. I mean, I have the box of them over there. Watercolor boards. Okay. So Crescent, not Crescent Gator board, premium watercolor board. Okay, so I think that's what I got. And then it was the see, it's giving me different numbers. It's giving me 5. Actually, here's what I'm gonna do. What am I doing? Sometimes I forget I'm actually living in the future, which you'd think I wouldn't, but here we are. Here you go. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm using. Those right there are your boards. And so yeah, so I use those. And I think hopefully that'll take you to the right thing. But it's a crazy thing because learning, if I was a young person who was trying to actually be a young person and enjoy my life, I would want to be in a space that was basically that provoked curiosity and provoked, imagination. And it's easier than it's ever been to make a space like this, the one I'm working in, be that. Which is why it was so important to me. I said, I've got to redo my background so that I can show people all of the fun stuff I'm into. You know, all of the stuff I like. Like if I go to, let me see, I have a few. This is the great thing about Ecamm. There's things about it that make things difficult, and then there's things about it that are kind of cool. So let me go to this new scene and see what happens. Oh, there we go. So you can see my light and all the craziness of my setup. Let me move this back, and you guys can see there's my brand new Alphonse Mucha piece that's up there. I still got my Batmobile up there. Then there's all my books and the things that I'm working on. But I've just got a lot more fun stuff behind me and a lot more exciting stuff to look at behind me. And I just wanted to be able to have something that where people come in here and I'm going to do more and more stuff, that it's a lot more like the classrooms I used to make. And that it's also fun, because my classrooms were really fun. That was a big part of them. So yeah, that's what it's always about that. Oh my God, I'm so far behind on chat here. David D, what's up? We aren't living in the future. We're actually living in a simulation, very likely, no doubt. Let me see here. Random Anderson, sold my kit because I wanted to upgrade. There you go. Easier than typing to me. Yeah, probably is. I can get a real Ministry of Evil or werewolf if I tried. Look at you guys. You guys are cracking me up, man. But it's that's what's so fun to me about H.P. Lovecraft and, you know, doing this stuff and basically making gothic pulp adventure comics that are Hammer horror meets H.P. Lovecraft. They're romantic too, you know, and that's a big part of Gothic. That's a big part of Dracula. Dracula, how do I put this? Frankenstein is absolutely a work of genius, but for my pulp loving heart, I love Dracula. Dracula is my favorite of the two because it's such a heroic adventure story, and that's what I just gravitate towards. Nosfero is sort of like a Dracula story if Dracula was the good, or Nosfero is a powered character, so he's almost kind of like the good version of Dracula in a weird way. He's not a vampire, but he's certainly got powers that make him a fun pulp figure. But look at the stuff that we're able to do here, you know, with the scales, with the paintings. This is what's so fun about the commissions and the commission work we get, you know. It's just pushing it. Shanth Enjeti Art, I'll order some of those boards and see if I like it. It's better than gesso and canvas boards. Yeah, and I would say this, if you treat your acrylics, if you get yourself some heavy body acrylics and you treat them like I wouldn't say go full crazy watercolor, but you can really illustrate those up, and you can really I don't know, I like to sometimes do like pencil sketches, and then you could hit it with matte medium if you wanted to seal it. Like there's so much stuff you could do. It's just going to be really cool. I think you're going to love it. I think you're absolutely going to love it. There we go. And you know, it's interesting too. I'm inspired by all kinds of artists, so and all kinds of fans. You know, it's like when I was commissioned to do this painting by a fan, and I typically don't do a lot of commissions for paintings that are just, you know, it's just not something I do a lot of. And this is a backer and a fan who is just been a huge supporter, always positive, just a terrific guy. And he's been asking me if I could do a commission for, I think, maybe 2 years now, you know. And the thing that was crazy about it is, right as I was doing this, another group of creators who are very much doing the independent thing and reaping all the rewards, who are industry veterans, by the way. Yes, I have actually, and I'm going to be doing a, funny you should bring that up, I'm going to be doing a Forget Everything You've Been Taught About Carmilla as well. I was actually working on a portrait before I started the stream. I swear I'm not making this up. I can actually prove that. But I was working on a portrait of Le Fanu. So, yeah, I actually am working on a digital portrait of him. So I can do Forget Everything You've Been Taught About Carmilla, which is, wow, it's really the first of its kind. Yeah, 2-year wait list, yeah. It's a bit like that. Because, you know, I've got Spring Ball, I've got all of this stuff going on, but you guys know, it's like, I know who my Ride or Die fans are. And I know you guys are in my Ride or Die backers for that matter as well. And so you guys are very special to me and my family. And you understood from the jump what Nosfero was going to be, and you were supporting that book. And someone was writing recently online, and they said something really flattering about Nosfero, and I think they said the story was like a 9.5 out of 10, and I was so touched by that, and it was great to hear, because I really am proud of the story, and I think it's something that is uplifting. But anyway, going back to where I was 5 minutes ago, there was this company called Four Horsemen, which are these very four famous... Rocky, if you're not a Ride or Die fan, then nobody is. But they're called the Four Horsemen, and they make all these incredible toys. They made this novel-accurate Frankenstein figure. They did a Charles Dickens... oh my god, I can't believe I'm blanking on the ghost's name. Jacob Marley's ghost, a headless horseman. They're incredible. Well, they just released a gigantic, to scale with their figures, dragon figure. Right as I was working on this, and I'm telling you, the detail on the scales and everything like that, and the figure, are astounding. And when I see artists who really throw down and do incredible stuff like that, it just makes me want to raise my game. So, yeah, I'm going... but, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you know how it goes. We're always... if you're motivated and you love this stuff, you're always pushing as far as you can go. Like, Nosfero is just... I know Nosfero 2 is going to be fantastic, and so is Springball, but I didn't leave anything. I left it all in the ring when I did Nosfero. That book is a freaking work of art. Really proud of it. There we go. And the link for that book is in the description. So if you missed it and you want to back it before I pull it down, now's the time. Because I don't know exactly when I'm pulling it down. They haven't even transferred, given us the money that's been raised yet, because they hold it for a certain amount of time and sometimes even longer. So that's just the a look behind the curtain at how this stuff works. But, we're on track with that book, and it's going to be just as beautiful as the first edition, just with different new stuff in it. Oh, this is going to be so cool, guys. This is just going to feel like this rippling, cool... yeah, that's right. I'm telling you, man. Dragons. I feel you. I'm a company... Can't even get through this. Antoine's always killing me. I'm in a company uncomfortably kind of guy. That's right. Yep. Yeah. I mean, there's so much cool stuff. Myth is so great. Headless Bourgeoisie says, Shanth, have you read any of Lord Dunsany? Is it Dunsany's work? Or is it Dunsany? I always think it's Dunsany. I never know how to pronounce it right. Work. Yes, I have. Your painting style would be perfect for his adaptations. Well, my God, that's high praise. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because we were just talking about postmodernism and redefining things, and I'm not knocking the book, but I think it has to be understood what it's coming out as. Oh my gosh, a $5 super chat from a man called Plush. Thank you so much, my friend. Let me read this. Oh my gosh. Glasses are falling down. Adi Shankar channel shares directors. What if they did X movie? The Batman Nightfall pitch has placed Tetsuo Iron Man on my list. Watch those vids. I absolutely will. Thank you, a man called Plush. And let me play you some cheerleaders. Here you go, my friend.
Charge! Charge!
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Oh my gosh, did we just get... And Eric Weinberg just gifted... My nose is like so stuffed. I'm sorry, guys. Too much time outside hiking. Just gifted a Shanth Enjeti Art membership that went to, I think, my brother, Rocky Ballesteros. Thank you so much. Eric, you legend. Here's some more cheerleaders. God, you guys are going nuts tonight.
Charge! Charge!
Yes, sincere respect, Eric. I do appreciate that. That is fantastic, and thank you so much for clarifying the pronunciation on it. Yeah, it's one of those books that I found my way to, just like I don't know if any of you guys know this, if any of you guys are Tolkien fans at all. But I didn't know this, but that Tolkien had apparently done and worked on, I think it was released actually by his son, went through and edited it, a translation of Beowulf. But if you're ever curious to see one of the great, parents of myth, there's a great documentary called In Search of Beowulf that is fantastic, and they actually go into the archives in, I forget which library it's in, and go to one of the oldest surviving copies of Beowulf. And you get to see this in the documentary, and it is so cool. And you can find it on YouTube. But Grendel and that idea of, I was introduced to Grendel before I was introduced to Beowulf, because that was a big book that, came out during this postmodernist push. Like, what about the story from Grendel's perspective, and it's just, it's one of those things to where I think that it might be a good idea for people to really read and get acquainted with these historical works before we see the kind of psychoanalysis versions of them. And I think that's the big case I'm making, which is that we've got generations of students who were not raised with the Greek myths, who were not raised with, the Old Testament or the New Testament, which are such a huge influence on literature. I know there's colleges like, I think it's called Hillsdale, but I'm not positive, that have, all of these great works as a part of their introduction to literature course. I think the course is actually called The Great Books. So it has, you can look it up. The curriculum is public online, but it's fantastic. And I found that I didn't enjoy reading that much when I was a kid. But now that, I'm almost 50 and certainly in my 40s, the idea of reading what I want to read and listening to audiobooks that are, on YouTube, because LibriVox has a lot of public domain audiobooks of public domain books. It's so great to read that stuff. One of my favorite books, and is so much more nuanced than any film telling you're going to see, because it's such an epic book, is The Count of Monte Cristo. The Count of Monte Cristo is a fantastic book. Fantastic book. If you haven't read that book, it's an amazing work. It's a work that delves into the limits of revenge as a motivation, and like what it does to your heart and how you find your way out, and what obstacles and suffering. I mean, funny enough, Spaceman, how are you doing, my friend? It's great to see you. Hey, welcome. At any time, you're always on time. What's up, Photo Viper? How are you doing? What's up, Shanth? Hope you're having a great evening. Very cool to see a cool painting stream. Thank you so much, my friend. It's a pleasure to see you. Yeah, I thought John Gardner's Grendel was brilliant. No arguments there. I think it is quite brilliant. I mean, again, it's also got one of the great epic book covers. I think, look this up, but I think that book cover on that was by Brad Holland. Am I correct in that? Antoine, double check me on that, if that cover was by Holland. I think it was. But, again, don't quote me on that. I could be wrong on that score. Okay, I want to do... And this is where you have to kind of... I mean, this is the Bob Ross thing. Shoot, let's have some fun, as Bob would say. But this is where I think you have to kind of let the paint do things. You can't get into too methodical of a painting rhythm, and you have to let things break, because what light does across any kind of surface is it's going to break. It's going to do things that you wouldn't expect. They might be predictable on some levels, but on other levels they won't be. And that's what's going to activate that painting a lot more. Let me see here. Oh my God, I'm falling so far behind. Yep, most LibriVox recordings sound like a can on a string, though. I know. It's so true. An English degree is automatically invalid if Beowulf wasn't read and studied. Agreed, 100%. I can't do audiobooks, but I read every day. See, I think that's the better version of it. I'm currently doing a 231-day reading streak. That's fantastic, Random McRanderson. Hail. The LibriVox I've heard sound pretty good. Yeah, the one I heard for Frankenstein was pretty good, but I actually had to pull it off of YouTube and edit it, because it had by Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley on it, and I actually am such a pain about it. I ripped it off of YouTube, even though it's in the public domain, and I cut out the changing of her name. I just refuse. It just pisses me off so much. Indeed, rest in peace, Bob, but let me tell you something. Bob is crushing it and destroying us all on YouTube from beyond the grave. He's amazing. Thank you so much, Spaceman. I appreciate it. It's for a very special backer and fan and supporter, and just a fantastic guy. I know the edition you're talking about. That was from a printing done in the 90s. I think so, I want to say. And it was an epic cover. It's one of the great covers. Yes, The Count of Monte Cristo from 2002 is great. Guy Pearce, a young Henry Cavill. There's some really fantastic acting in that movie. Really, and Henry Caviezel? Was he in that? I think he was. I could be not Henry Caviezel. James Caviezel. I always get those names always twist me around. I love comics. That's okay, Rocky. That's what I do. Love Beowulf. Such a great story. Yes, and there's a great adaptation of it that is a little bit more nuanced as well. But I think it's really well done. It stars. Oh my God, what's the guy from 300? I'm always blanking on his name. He's a great actor. I don't know why I'm blanking on his name. Plays Leonidas. You guys know him. It's a really great adaptation. Bruce Campbell's Chin, the amount of school I skipped to stay at home and watch Bob Ross and The Price is Right is mind-boggling. Bob Ross and Price is Right were my jam. Absolutely. $1, Bob. OG Dumbledore is the Count of Monte Cristo as well. Yes, indeed. Let's see here. Ebooks. Oh my God. So Gerard Butler. Thank you so much. He's great. And it's boy, is that an intense story, man. That story is I mean, in a great fashion. It's really good. I was incredibly impressed by what they did with that story. Yeah, every painting I do, every page of Nosfero, every page of my art books, guys. It's I put everything I have into it because when it comes to paintings and when it comes to teaching, and that's a big factor for me. Like when people are like, why do you teach, or why did you stop teaching? You got a certain amount of time in your life, and this stuff is really important, and you want to make sure that you're not spending your time on people who don't value the knowledge you're passing on. And when people pass on knowledge to me, and when I've been in the role of a student, I've always valued it. And my teachers would, all of my teachers I ever had, those that are still alive anyway, would tell you that's the case. And so it's the same thing with doing these paintings. I mean, this is going to be a painting that's in somebody's home, but I have a certain amount of paintings left. I have a certain amount of books left. And while I'm making these books, and you can get a hold of them, get them, because they're all hand shipped from me, and that's the key to it all. Shanth, you are a teacher to the core. I love that you're taking it back here. Yeah, I got to, man. I got to. You know that, and you and Laura are always pushing me on that stuff. I mean, this is the crazy thing about it. You know, the people I've got around me, it's like I've known my wife now for 28 years. I've known Rock for 30 years. I've known my brother Nick now. I think we calculated it out somewhere like around 22 or so years. I think it is. Maybe even 23 years. We've known each other for a while, and these guys are sort of, you know, and my friend Vin, who I've known now for 30 years as well. But these are the folks that are my go-tos when I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, well, where should I go with this? I always have them to bounce ideas off of, and it's a very tight crew. And it's like, you know, there's people who are on another layer outside of that, but I very much, you know, we're all fairly accomplished in what we do. We know enough successful people that's the thing that we know that's not what we're about, what we're chasing, because it's just, it's so nuts. Like between me and most of my friends, we know everybody. And I'm not talking about people in Comicsgate. I'm talking about people in the entertainment industry. I'm talking about all of the crazy things that we've done. But what we're really about is the craft and the skill of getting better, you know? And it was just like, I have these bizarre experiences sometimes that I don't really talk about, but it's like people come up to me and they'll go, "Oh, you just want to be in with this person or that person," and I'm just like, "Fools, let me tell you something, man. People who don't get this stuff, people who are friends with me and who I keep in my life is because they're good people, because I don't want to have people around me who are about status and about bullshit. But that doesn't mean, like, my kids think certain stuff is normal, okay? So I have a friend who is a lead storyboard artist on feature films and done work on shows you would know, animation, live action, things that, and he came from a set where he was flown out by the director. He was working on this dude he's such a good guy. I love talking to him. And we're both big airplane and aviation fanatics. And he was out here visiting, and he was on a film set with this director, and it was Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds. And he took time when he was up in Boston on a movie set to come down here with his lady, his lovely lady who we adore, come down here to hang out with us, have lunch, and have dinner in our small little town. And we're just out there eating, and I go, the people have no idea, like, the people who have come through my small town to come hang out. And I'm so appreciative of them, but that's not why I'm friends with these people. I'm friends with these people because we've talked about real life stuff that we've been through. And we've been with each other through thick and thin, and that's how that stuff works. And these people are so much more successful than anybody that you're going to probably see in the independent comic space. But that's not the reason why you do things. It's so strange, man. It's so strange. If you can have a 2 or 3 hour phone call with somebody for status, you might be a sociopath. But I don't think you can do it. You know, real comes out in a couple of hours on the phone. And we know stuff about each other, and we know, like, it's like about, like, oh, my kid's here, oh, my mom's sick, and I can't get to her because it's the pandemic and the country's locked down. Like, real stuff we talk about. And it's crazy, man. It's crazy. John, it's great to see you, brother. How you doing, man? Spaceman saw Bob Ross early yesterday morning. Yeah, I love that dude. I watch him all the time when I need inspiration. Yep, it's true. It's one of those things. Well, I'm a huge weirdo myself, I gotta tell you. Everybody's saying hello, hello, hello. Oh my God, the chat is flying right now. You guys are nuts. God bless you. But you know what I mean? It's like, it's crazy, man. It's like everything stops when, you know, when a friend of mine, and I have so many people who've, like, in emergencies have come and watched my kids whose names people don't know, you know, who are just live in our small town and help us out, like, and we help them out. That's what it's really about for me. And so I love having you guys come into this space. You know what I mean? I love you guys who are coming in here and becoming channel members. Thank you for gifting memberships. We have 2 people gift memberships this week and super chats. That stuff is great because it helps me to keep, you know, the lights on and keep the wheels on the wagon, so to speak. But I want to be able to invite people, be able to afford to invite people into this environment where I can give you guys hopefully a little bit of inspiration, sell you guys my work, which is designed to give you inspiration. That's what drives me, and that's what inspires me, is to sort of, you guys are getting a real look inside to what I'm doing. And you've got, when it comes to me painting, you guys have got the best seat in the house. And Dark Shadow Logan is saying hello to John. Everybody's saying hello. Rocky, everybody's saying hello to Rocky Macabre. It's good to see all of you guys here in the chat. Make sure you hit the like if you haven't yet. It does help. We're at 62 likes. You guys are crushing it tonight, man. Well done. Let's see here. You're so funny, Rocky. Bob Ross, Pluto TV channel is the best. Yes, it is. And, you know, he's somebody too. Rill recognizes Rill. Skeleton Core Comics knows what it's about, man. Yeah, I mean, you see people who are, you meet a lot of people when you're a teacher in particular, but I think also when you introduce yourself and you put yourself out there. And I'm an introvert. So if you haven't gotten Nosfero, you've missed out on probably some of my favorite writing of all time, which is my wife's introduction, which I don't even know. That got me, man. But she talks about, one of the things she says in it that I love is she goes, contrary to what you might think when you see him on YouTube or teaching, Shanth is a true introvert, and I am. But what's great for me is that a lot of my friends know they can kind of, whatever their success level is in the industry, if they want to show me a script or run an idea by me, they know it's not going to get stolen. They know that I'm going to actually sincerely read it and give my thoughts on it. And that's how I meet people. I mean, I had this really cool, and I don't think he'd mind me saying it because I think it's already been, I'm not going to talk about what it was, but I had this really great experience where, I don't know if you guys know Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow, but the brother of the director is a guy named Kevin Conran, and he did all the concept art for that movie. Everything, like hundreds of drawings. They even released a book on it that I think I have over there somewhere, The Art of Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow by Kevin Conran. And he was working on a script and a story, and he asked me if I would read his script and if I would give him my thoughts on it. And I did a complete sort of character breakdown on it, and so he sent me the script, all this concept artwork as he was shopping it around. And it was just, he said to me, he goes, you know what the thing is? He was like, I really appreciate you doing that, because one of the hardest things in the world is to get anybody to actually read your script for feedback or read it at all. And it was just how we met. I don't even know how we met. We just started talking, and I was like, hey man, I like your work. It's really cool. I'm a big fan of Sky Captain. And then I just kept him up to date on stuff like that. But I should really reach out to him again. He's a terrific guy. Really had some great conversations. I think his I can't tell. I've been just family stuff. But yeah, I think I'm remembering how we met. But it was just a very good dude. And I love that movie. I could always put Sky Captain on Sky Captain: The World of Tomorrow and get a smile on my face. It's a great flick. David D. Greetings, John. Good guessing. MMO didn't make it this late. Let me see here. Dark Shadows is an introvert as well. Over the years, I've learned to embrace it. Yeah, it's a great thing. Let me see here. I think she said something about getting Sean's book, if I'm not mistaken. Are we talking about Tammy? Yes, Tammy did get the book. It got there. Yes, Tammy got the book. Thank God. Yeah, Bob Ross is the best, man. I love Bob Ross. He's, and that's the other aspect of it. You talk to people who knew Bob, and they're like, yeah, he was really like that. He was just a really good guy. You can't fake that stuff. And I don't think that there's any more, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't think people who are cynical and negative are by necessity more genuine than people who are enthusiastic and positive. I think that's another postmodernist idea. I think you got to watch people for a long time and get to know them before you can understand who they are. But I've been in Comicsgate, and I've been on YouTube for 5 years, and I've been in Comicsgate since 2018 or 19, I think. So I've been here for a very long time, and I've gotten to know people, and everything I've done has been, through the grace of God and honestly through just getting to know people the honest way and sort of just talking to people and that kind of thing. And to me, it just makes things a lot easier. I don't know how to do it the other way. And, if there's one thing that gets me to come on these, do streams and do all the stuff I do on the channel, one, it's you guys' support. Thank you guys for your support and being channel members. But the biggest thing about it is that I like spending time with you guys, and that I can actually, I put myself out there. And whenever you see me, kind of restructure, it's either because I'm trying to build something, or it's because I'm recharging, because I just don't fake it when I come on stream. I can't just go on stream and pretend to be, it's not a character, and as an introvert, I gotta recharge sometimes. And because I want to just keep moving things forward. I gotta write sometimes, I gotta work on stories sometimes, and I can't always do that stuff on stream. But I'll tell you, tonight I was going, I really wanted to figure out one of the first short episodes or shorts for Forget What You've Been Taught About. And I go, but I spent all day working on that, and I haven't done a stream in a while, so I'm going to paint. That's what I have to do. Because I want to make sure I go out there and I can always talk to you guys and paint and be fully present. And so that's what's so fun about this stuff. Let me see here. John, by the way, You inspired me to work on my shoes the other day when you asked about them. So that's what I'm doing right now. Very cool, very cool. Bruce Campbell's Chin is saying hello, and a channel member, a newly minted channel member, which is great to see. Thank you so much, guys, who have been gifting channel members. David D in the house. I hope I said hello to you already. I got to say, Barb Rogers, thank you for gifting a membership. That was incredibly cool of you. And much appreciated. And I want to say I appreciate Eric Weinberg as well, or doing gifting a membership to my brother Rocky. You guys are great. Is it Weinberg or is it Winberg? I don't know. I'm so terrible at reading things. If you're still here and you're in the chat, please write out phonetically how I pronounce it, because there's a great YouTuber I've been watching who's a local guy. I think he is a dispatcher, police dispatcher, and from Salem, if I'm not mistaken, or from Boston. But every Halloween his channel is called Detours, and his name is Derek Millen, and he goes to Salem. And if you want to see what all of the craziness and fun that Salem has to offer during the Halloween season, Detours is your channel to go and watch his full documentation of things. It'll make you want to visit, I'm warning you. And he's got a great channel, but he is such a positive dude, and has channel member credits, and he's just such a great guy, and so positive, and loves this stuff. And you see stuff, and my wife always asks me about this, but you see stuff on YouTube where people just say horrible stuff about people. Just go on the channel to just be horrible, and he just gave a funny intro to one of his videos. But yeah, most of us are here because we want to really just get out there. Oh, good. So he's here, thank God. Winberg, excellent. That's right. Well, you seem like a winner to me, Eric, so that's what I would want to pronounce it as. So Eric Winberg, excellent. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Yeah, you guys are great. You guys are great. It really does. It really does lift your spirits when you're working on these books, and I'm grateful for the fact that I've got so many friends who are creators that I can talk shop with, and it's the same thing. It's the same thing with being able to pick people's brains and sort of go, okay, well, like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And that's really what I think is the thing that I enjoy the most about what we do here. And then I'm always watching channels. Sometimes they have nothing to do with comics or painting or art, but it's what happened when I started watching AJ's channel, the Y-Files. I was looking at it and I went, this is beautiful. Like I like the way he does things. I mean, he uses AI art and 2.5D and things like that in a way that I think is really great for what he's trying to do. And it's really interesting, and I know how much work goes into it. And what he does, and it's not something that I would probably ever do, but it's that, it's not about that. It's about getting what he wants to get out there. He is doing so much on that channel, and it's impressive. And it's funny, whenever he's not doing shows, I always think, yeah, he's probably recharging. I don't know how that guy keeps going. It's exhausting work. And I thought, but that's what teaching can be. Teaching can absolutely be inspiring little information. And we could do probably have more impact on and pushing back on these narratives than I could do with teaching for 20 years at a college. And I would say, too, that, the chance of reaching an audience who's going to support you and protect your free speech and your ability to make your own artwork is critical. You got to have those things. And I don't think there's a publisher on earth outside of you guys crowdfunding this book and these books who would allow me to tell this story the way I want to tell it. And you'll know when you get the book why that is. It's because it's not a book that follows a traditional... it has a narrative, and it has a beginning, middle, and end, because it's a self-contained story, and that was very important for me to do. But it's not... It's the wildest, like, how do I describe it? The first quote in the book is me basically referencing and re-scripting in a different way a German silent film called Nosferatu, which you guys probably know. The next quote in the book is by H.P. Lovecraft. And H.P. Lovecraft is a controversial figure for some, for a lot of reasons, but is a genius, and I don't care, and he's going to go in the book. Then the next quote in the book is a verse from the Bible that plays a role in a particular character interaction. And then the last quote in the book is by Ayn Rand, an atheist and objectivist. Because my attitude is, this book has got to be art and creative and do things that inspire me, get people thinking, but also bring them beauty. That's what it's about. And that's the thing I love about doing Nosfero. I mean, there are things in this book. Oh, I should actually, one of these days I got to grab the originals because they're over there in a stack. I haven't even put them in boxes yet, which I'm going to have to do. But one spread of Nosfero the Crypt Walker, this beautiful, fully painted 8.5 by 11 book, is so beautiful and so rich in terms of creativity. It's just like you just get brought into this world, and it's the color reproduction is so. I mean, you're looking at this next to an actual painting. This is how good the color reproduction is on this book. It's astounding how well. I mean, I spent the money to print this in America and get the best colors I could possibly get in this production. I mean, and it is a beautiful and rich and complicated and a moving story. And it is just, I mean, I could not be more proud of just the visuals and the character interactions and all of this stuff and the crazy panel layouts. It's just about moving paintings, and that's what I love this kind of thing so much. I love creativity. I love heroism. I love gothic, romance, and I love gothic adventure stories. And when it comes to taking down the bad guys, Nosfero is not playing around. And so I'm just sitting here going, I get to draw werewolves the way I've always wanted to draw werewolves. I get to draw double-page spreads of just incredible gothic beauty. This is the stuff that I thought comics could do. I knew comics could do. And you guys made it possible for this comic book to exist. And you will make it possible for me to continue to make comics when you back this book. I mean, it's just, that's what it's about, guys. It's about being able to make things like this through crowdfunding. Square bound, glossy stock, SHANTH ENJETI art, guys, made with liberty in the U.S.A. That is what it's about. And thank you, Spaceman, for saying diaphanous, because by God, that is what we do here. That is what we do here. Diaphanous gowns. I'm telling you, that's the secret. That is the secret. And so if I can make, look at, let's zoom out on this just a little bit. Let's see if I can turn the camera just so you guys can get a more straight on view of it. But do you guys see what we're doing here with this thing? We've got a knight jumping into the fray. We're going to have this beautiful, fully realized dragon. And it's just going to be something that is haunting. And my favorite thing that you can get on the current Nosfero campaign, and I am never printing this again because it is for a limited time and it's for a limited audience, is you can get this book, what's called the Nosfero Art Edition. And the Nosfero Art Edition is the artwork without text and bonus features. So you're going to be able to get just the paintings with no words on it only, and this campaign is going to be wrapping up soon. If you want to know a book that's going to be worth some money if you want it, it's going to be that book, because the print run is going to be so much lower on that book than it is for the first edition. Even the oxidized second edition is going to have a lower print run. So that's the thing I'm kind of excited about. Those things are going to be collectors, for sure. And I love that aspect of making these books, man. It's going to be fun. What is up, Bretsky the Great? It's great to see you, man. How are you doing, brother? It's great to see you. I keep trying to get John to say anything about a variant cover. Don't worry, I'll put pressure on him if I have to. If I need one, John probably would do it. You know, John is he's so funny, man. He's a big spring ball supporter, man. He's a huge spring ball supporter, and I appreciate that. I think the only person who's got John beat is Rocky. Rocky is he's the original spring ball fan. He has spring ball stuff that I don't have. He has the first volume before I lettered it, you know, and so that's just insanity to me, you know, just insanity that he has that. So yeah, craziness. I love it. I love how that stuff works. I'm curious if I can. Does that work? I don't know. We'll see. All right, guys. So yeah, thank you guys so much for being here, and thank you guys for smash that like button. It all matters. It all matters for helping me to get these things out. And if you haven't yet, click the link in the description to the new channel I'm starting. Although I'm going to be putting the stuff up here as I grow that channel, which is and subscribe to it. It is Forget What You've Been Taught About, and that is going to be a full on, you know, contradiction, or what would I call it? Rebuttal of postmodernist education that has basically indoctrinated people and focused on indoctrinating people with this rot of postmodernism. And I am excited about it because as someone who taught in academia for 18 years and fought against and suffered the consequences of, in terms of career, having my career slowed, stopped, and thwarted at every single turn. I know this stuff, and I'm ready to go after it because it's absolutely poisoned so many people's minds and left people feeling like everything is hopeless. There's no point to anything, and we've got to do something better. We've got to give them a better alternative, and I think you guys know what I mean. Popomo, yeah, postmodernism, yeah, let's make it happen. And TM Comics, it's good to see you. What is postmodernism? You don't need to know it. It's hell, but it's everywhere. You've probably been exposed to it. The nice pose kind of reminds me of... this is total Frazetta piece. I think it was called The Tempest. Very cool. The one with the barbarian getting his sword. Oh, that's an awesome piece. Yeah. Man, I wish it was that cool. A really, really cool piece. Let me see here. Rocky Ballesteros. Fun thing about catching up, isn't it? Yes, indeed. Scrub through Sean's boomerang moments. There are plenty of those. All right, guys. So, hey, listen. We're at about 2 hours, and the only reason I've got to wrap up is because the phone that I use for this wireless connection, so I can show you everything in high resolution, so that you can actually get right down on the canvas, and you can see all of this detail. This camera phone is running out of power. Oh, dude, that's so great. I'm so glad. I love that shirt. I wear it all the time. David D just said, just purchased a Made with Liberty in the USA t-shirt. Hail, Shanth. Hail to you. I love that shirt. I wear it all the time, guys. Yeah, if you want that Made with Liberty in the USA, then that you're going to love it. And yes, indeed, Bruce Campbell's Chin, newly minted member. And Wishmaster, it's great to see you, my friend. Dr. Ben, beautiful work. Thank you so much, Dr. Ben. God bless you. I appreciate it. But yeah, guys, it is 2 hours flies by, and my camera phone is running out of power, so I've got to go. But there are going to be more streams this week. I'm trying to open up my schedule more, and now that I've got my studio space a little bit better organized, we're ready to rock and roll, guys. So I've got the credits updated. I'm going to be updating them for the next show with all of you guys who become new channel members. Every time before I stream, I go to my channel members, and I take I put the order in order of who's been a channel member the longest, even if you've had a gap in your membership. If you've been a member, the person who's been the member the longest is at the top of the chat, and then it goes all the way down to the newest members. And I think that's just the best way to do it. So I got to tell you guys, thank you so much for being here. And of course, as I always say on my streams, from the heart of Lovecraft Country, in the birthplace of American religious liberty, my name is Shanth Enjeti. You've been watching Shanth Enjeti Art. Speak easy, stay gold, keep the faith, and peace be with you guys. Thank you so much for your support. Have a wonderful evening and a wonderful Monday morning, depending on where you're located, or a Sunday evening. It's always a pleasure to stream for you guys. I hope you guys have a great night. Thank you for all of your support this stream. Let's keep getting the word out. Let's keep growing this Nosfero thing. Let's keep growing this Shanth Enjeti art thing so that we can push back against all of this insanity and bring a little bit of hope to everybody's lives. I think we can do that. And you guys give me a lot of hope, so I appreciate you so much. Take care. Have a good one, Coyote P. It's good to see you in the house. I don't know if I said hello to you yet, but hello. I'm sorry if I missed you. The Photo Viper, it's great to see you. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you guys so much. And I will see you guys very, very soon. So here are the credits. Thank you so much, David. I appreciate you for being here. William Wellborn, it is great to see you. Take care, my friend. I will see all of you guys very, very soon. And thank you so much. Take care.